Hello guys, Moitspan What Ifs here. This is going to be my third episode of What If Deku was Gaster from Undertale. So anyways, in the last episode, All for One finally found out about Gaster's abominations, that being the humans which he fused together using the void and also some of his own powers. But he still doesn't know that Gaster was the one who did it, or crap, I should stop saying Gaster, I should start saying Deku. Actually have a good way to fix this. Let's say that both Deku and Ariel, after that little gang attack which happened, let's say that both of them went ahead to finding bigger prey. At this point, because of their successful expanding, they currently control about, let's say, 11% of the Tokyo's underworld. So, All for One does know that they exist, but he doesn't really know who's leading them, because both Ariel and Gaster always teleport or use a sort of a void shield, basically making them invisible. They are, well, they're still there. They're in a, let's say, they're in between the physical world and the void. It's like they're walking in between them, shall I say that. And well, and like that, most of All for One's informants can't exactly find them. But All for One does try doing something. He gets several of his nomus and a couple of his goons, which are villains with rather powerful quirks, to attack Gaster and Ariel's basically main base, shall we say, which is in a 9-story apartment building located somewhere in the outskirts of Japan. They basically have their entire compound there, used for selling guns, drugs, and also a tiny bit of human experimentation for Gaster, of course. And well, suddenly the 4 guys, which are under Deku's command, who were stationed outside of their compound, has basically lookouts, guards. They're simply talking when out of nowhere, boom. Lightning strikes all 4 of them. The 4th one, all three of them died while the 4th one was extremely burnt. He pushed a silent alarm which notified both Ariel and Deku, along every single other member of their gang, that they were under attack. They didn't know by who, but they knew that they were under attack. And just like that went, an explosion happened. 7 villains and 3 nomus entered into the compound. Those 3 nomus, one of them was a high-end nomu, meaning the black ones, which have super regeneration and all of that, along with 2 less powerful nomus. And well, the 7 villains. Let's say that 2 of them had fire quirks, one of them had an electric quirk, one of them was able of using, let's say, sound waves. And the other 3 could summon weapons. Let's say one of them could summon swords, the other could summon an axe, and the 3rd could summon dual pistols. And only 2 of them could summon weapons, the dual pistols guys and the sword guy. The 7th one, let's say that he can create barriers. Yes, that sounds good. Anyways, as they attack, Gaster's own quirk users, which he has 2 squads of them, although one of the squads was currently doing something else in the black market, because both Gaster and Ariel have several compounds, although this is their biggest one. They have 3 compounds in total, and then several safe houses used for storage or, well, laboratories for Deku's own personal use. And as they simply attacked, Deku and Ariel's squad of quirk users, which, let's say that there's 3 of them in her own squad, and there's 5 of them in Deku's squad. Ariel's squad's quirks go like this. One of them is able to copy herself, something like twice, but not to the extent where he can. She can copy herself 7 times. So just like that, 7 more people with guns enter the fray. The second one of Ariel's squad, quirk users, let's say that he can use energy waves. That being that he can summon like basically blades out from his hands, and that he can also shoot them out, although they become less powerful as further they go. And then the third, let's say that he can use some sort of telekinesis. Not that much, but let's say 10 times stronger than Inko's in the anime. While she can only get small objects near her, that guy can fully lift a truck. Let's say something like that. And so as that happens, most of the 3 Nomus go ahead and go ahead after let's know. 4 of the villains go after Ariel's squad. Ariel goes ahead and starts fighting the 2 Nomus, while Deku goes after the high-end Nomu, that being the black one, and the other, and also the villain quirk user who can use the barriers. While the other 3 go up against the other soldiers, that is, I should probably say mercenaries, which Gaster has in his compound, which is about 20, but keep in mind that most of them don't have powerful quirks, and those which do have, and some of them don't even have quirks. Gaster really doesn't indifferentiate. As long as you can hold the weapon and shoot it, you're good in his books. I said Gaster again. Ah, crap. Well, you guys get the point. So, anyway, as the high-grade Nomu tries to attack Deku, Deku quickly teleports and uses 5 of his Gaster blasters. He completely obliterates the Nomu, except for, let's say, his head and his right arm. But then Deku sees that the Nomu starts regenerating rapidly, so he knows that the Nomu has an extremely powerful generation quirk. But then out of nowhere a barrier is placed around him, making him unable to teleport. And well, let's say that the Nomu simply jumps and punches Deku's skull into the barrier. Somewhat like this picture. Except imagine that Deku's face is the one which is under glass, as you can see here. Basically, Deku's head was the one that cracked the barrier. Anyways, as that was going on, Deku finally received the Gaster's iconic markings on his face, as you guys can see here. The 2 lines coming from his eyes. His skull was finally cracked. And well, Deku did not enjoy that feeling. He immediately used 10 of his Gaster blasters to completely and utterly obliterate the Nomu, with nothing left, not even dust. And after that was done, he simply turned his gaze towards the barrier quirk user. And well, for him he had something special in mind, because he could be a good abomination. He used his now acquired hand, because let's say the 2 months passed since the attacks the gangster's hideout. He unlocked 2 more of his hands. One being the blue hand, the telekinetic one, and let's also say that he got this purple, orange, red, and also the orange hand, which is capable of creating, well, just like I said, those small beads of energy which are capable of exploding on command. And well, he simply used that. He used the telekinetic hand to completely rip out the guy's arms off, and then used the exploding pellet to basically launch him into a, shall we say, wall. Ariel took care of the other two Nomus. Crap, not again. The other 2 Nomus, while the rest of the mercenaries which were located at the compound killed the other 3 quirk users, and Ariel's personal squad was easily able to dispatch the other guys. So after that, Deku simply said to All for One, because All for One was listening through an earpiece which they had in the leaders, which was the guy who could use the barrier quirk. He simply told him, if you want to die, you will. And that was it. He simply then took the earpiece and smashed it. And he took all of the corpses, including the Nomus, to his own laboratory to do a bit of research. Although he was a bit saddened because he completely destroyed the high-end Nomu, since he was a bit pissed off at it breaking his own face. So then, let's just say that at this point Deku was experimenting, while All for One was trying his hardest not to go there in person and try to get Deku's quirk. Which, well, in all honesty, All for One couldn't even do because he was, well, rather hurt because of what happened with his fight with All Might. So, anyways, this is going to be going now. Let's swap into Bakugo and the rest and at UA, when I believe that this is the time the 2 weeks have passed and all that jazz. So, let's say that now goes the competition or the tournament, shall we say. Everything goes exactly like canon, with Bakugo being first to go through the, what's it called, the race which they had to go through, and then the second was Todoroki, and the third was Ida. Yes, Tenya was the third one. And Gaster was looking at them this entire time, because, well, Gaster didn't know Bakugo, because if you guys remember what I said, Deku was abandoned by his mother when he was only 4 years old, I believe. And, well, as all of that was going on, Deku and Ariel were simply looking at what was going on. Bakugo was able to create his own team with Kirishima, Uraraka, and also there has to be a fourth one. Let's see, who should I choose? And with also Mina. Yes, that sounds like a good team, since Bakugo is now much more friendlier than in the anime. So, as that was simply going on, Todoroki tried to get Bakugo's headband. He succeeded, but Bakugo also took his. Bakugo's team was going there. And well, now in the final bout of the tournament, everything went exactly as the same, except that, well, let's see. Mina went off against Todoroki, Bakugo went off against Ira, Uraraka went off against Togata, that being the guy who can copy quirks. And this is how it goes. Sadly, Uraraka loses her fight because, well, even though her quirk, Gravity, is an extremely powerful quirk, the Togata simply copied every single other quirk which he touched, so yeah. And he did that in 5 minutes. Don't ask me how, it's for plot purposes. And anyways, if I can go on the other one, yes. So, stuff was going on, Bakugo won his match and Todoroki won his. And in the final, that is in the semi-final rounds, it was Bakugo versus Mr. Copy of Quirks, and Todoroki versus... Wait, I actually forgot his name, crap. It's the guy who can use the Dark Shadow quirk, the guy who can... Tokoyami, yes, I think that's his name. It was Todoroki versus Tokoyami. And well, although the battle was, shall I say, rather fun to watch for the audience, in the end Todoroki won, with Bakugo winning on his own end. The final battle began. It was Bakugo versus Todoroki. And well, as all that went on, let's just say that Bakugo did did use One for All again. He was able to break through Todoroki's defenses, but that's when Todoroki finally used his fire. He created basically the whirlpool of fire, which we also saw in the anime. And well, Bakugo immediately backed off, using his own explosions to counter Todoroki's fire. After that was over, Todoroki used both his fire and ice at the same time. And well, at the same time, Bakugo used both One for All and his own explosion quirk. When those two did finally meet, both of their attacks, the causing explosion was even larger than the one which happened in the anime. The walls of the arena were all scattered, and if it wasn't for All Might and the other teachers, including Cementos, making gigantic walls all around the audience so that nobody was hurt. But when those walls came crumbling down, everyone saw that both Bakugo and Todoroki were out of the ring, simply implying that it was on a draw. And since I didn't want to make them go for another match, because of the sheer amount of destruction they caused, and because of their own injuries, they simply said that both Bakugo and Todoroki would have first place. Well, Todoroki and Bakugo were both okay with it, although Todoroki was a bit more, since he wanted to prove to his father that he wouldn't use his fire side, since, like I said, Todoroki, daddy issues. And anyways, Gaster, that is Deku and Ariel, simply watching as that turned out, Deku wanted to know how exactly Bakugo's quirk really worked. Because Deku is fucking smart. He's much smarter than, well, actually no, he's about the same amount of it. He's a bit more smarter than, crap, what's the principal of AU called, or the UA called? Well, you guys know who he is. He's that little mouse guy. So, and his quirk is like super intelligence. But well, Deku's is much smarter than him. That is crap. Fuck. Let's try this again. So, the principal of UA, his quirk is that he is super intelligent. Well, let's just say that Deku is a bit smarter than him. And Deku figured out that Bakugo somehow has two quirks. Because the explosions which he caused, and also One for All. Those two weren't the same quirk. Deku found that out. And well, after that, Deku simply went back to his laboratory to experiment, while Ariel went ahead and did some of her own experimenting. That is with money, drugs and guns. She was more of the, how do I say this? She was on the public front, Ariel, basically showing up to meetings and doing all that jazz, also selling weapons and that. While Gaster was more of a mastermind behind her. He was the guy who came up with all of the plans, the guy who always seemed to somehow have even more of his abominations ready to go. Which he did, because after the tournament, all of them received their, what do you call it now, invitations to join the hero agencies as interns. That is not interns, but to just be there and see how hero work is actually done. Now, also Shigaraki uses his no moves, but this is also the same time which Deku finally reveals himself to the world. And yes, I'm going to be making Deku a fucking supervillain. Basically the same, and also he's gonna be a lot more messed up than Alpha One. So yeah, this is meant for children, and this is also gonna be 18 plus, just so you guys know. A bit of a warning. As all that was gone, let's say that Deku was able to get even more human experiments, and see, let's say that he attacks the city, which is, I'm not sure which one. Okay, here we go, we're starting again. Sorry for the pause, since, well, my brother came into the room, so I had to pause the video, but there we go, you can go again. Oh, sorry for that. Anyways, where did I leave out on? Oh, right, Deku being a supervillain, yes. And also him getting more people to his, what's it called? experiments. So, let's say that several dozen, basically, mercenaries with quirks entered the city, along with, let's say, 20 or so abominations. So, there's Nomus in the city, the hero killer Stain, several groups of mercenaries running around and killing civilians and basically kidnapping them for Deku to experiment on, and also several dozen, basically, abominations. Amalgamates, I think that's how they call it in Undertale. And well, nobody knows what to do. The heroes are overwhelmed, while the police is currently trying to take care of the mercenaries. But the mercenaries are using both their quirks and also using their pistols and, well, assault rifles. Even some of them even have RPGs, because, well, as I told you guys, Deku has a lot of guns. And as all that was going on, Endeavor finally showed up. He went ahead and basically incinerated several abominations, while the... And also, no, he used both his fire to... He first deal with the Black and the Nomu, then he went ahead to fight against the Amalgamates, which was surprisingly easy to deal with, except 3 of them, because they had flame-resistant quirk. And well, how Deku was putting quirks into them, well, I finally found a way how to incorporate Undertale souls into this. Let's say that Gaster can see souls. He can also interact with them. So he simply takes shards of the souls and puts them into different people. That's basically how amalgamates are born. That is, in the Undertale they're made with monsters being driven with indetermination, but here I'm going to change it up a bit. So it's like the Gaster taking small pieces of a soul and then putting it into another one. And so as that was going on, Endeavor tries to do that. But then even more Nomus show up, and that's when Endeavor realizes something. The mercenaries and the abominations, the guys who actually look like fucking monsters, basically a bunch of people fused together, and the Nomus, they're not working together. The Nomus are openly attacking and killing the mercenaries, which confuses Endeavor until he realizes, oh shit, there's 2 villains, that there's 2 extremely powerful villains involved in this. And as that is going on, finally Deku appears. He uses his Gaster blasters and his new gigantic hands, basically right here, as you guys can see, those 2 giant hands. He uses both of them and infuses them with purple magic, the most powerful of his magic types, which are basically used to incinerate everything and anything. He uses them to kill every single Nomu, and then Endeavor sees him. Since if you guys remember, in episode 1, I believe, or actually maybe 2 even, as Deku and Ariel were finally left from the void due to something happening, they're not sure themselves what happened, Endeavor and Best Jeanist were there to attack them because they thought they were villains. Which in all honesty, both Deku and Ariel did kill people before, but that was in self-defense. After the heroes did that, they sort of said, you know what, fuck this shit, we're gonna become villains and kill them all. Or, well, sorry for that, that's a bit of a stupid way to say it. They want to become supervillains simply because they wanted to change the world in their own images. That being that quirks can or always be allowed to be used. Although killing wasn't allowed. That was basically their, should I say, calling to anybody who wanted that. And well, after that happened, Endeavor started fighting with Deku. After some time of fighting, Deku's skeleton was a bit burned, but nowhere near as much as hurt as Endeavor was. Endeavor was at this point, I sped up a tiny bit, so instead, currently Endeavor is missing one of his eyes, and his left arm and right leg are broken due to the Gaster blasters and hands. Anyways, Deku has a lot of fun with it, until Shigaraki pops up. He tries to dissolve Deku, but finds out that he can't do anything, just like Overhaul did in the last episode. Fucking Discord. Okay. And well, that's when Deku uses his hand to basically, well, how do I say this? Push Shigaraki through several walls. Shigaraki is broken, so that's when Kurogiri simply comes and picks him up, along with the remains of the Nomus. But Gaster, that is Deku, is having none of it and uses his telekinesis to basically move Kurogiri and forcibly teleport Kurogiri and Shigaraki and the two Nomus which he was able to take somewhere else. Although the high-end Black Nomu, he was still there. And Deku could see that he had several souls imbued into one. That wasn't exactly how he did it. That was an extremely, well, expensive way to do it. Because using multiple people's souls to put like that to make one single Nomu or amalgamation is extremely risky. Because there's a chance of the Nomu simply saying, "Fuck you, I will not follow you," or him simply not being able to do anything, his body completely rejecting the other two. So he wasn't sure how All For One was able to do it, but he knew sure as hell that he was gonna try doing it himself now. And anyways, moving back to Bakugo, Ida, and Todoroki, who are currently fighting up against Stain, Bakugo uses his explosion to basically blow up the entire street. Although, unlike the anime, Stain is able to escape. And well, on the way there, he meets Ariel. And as soon as he gets there, he sees that she has killed several heroes, two Nomus, and a bunch of police. And around Ariel is her, well, her personal squad. That is, the quirk users which I said, which fought against the other guys when All For One attacked their compound. And also several squads of mercenaries as well. As soon as they see Stain, they open fire. Stain quickly jumps out of the area just as Bakugo, Todoroki, and Ida come there. Needless to say, Todoroki immediately uses his ice wall to prevent any bullets from reaching them. But that's when the guy who has a telekinesis quirk basically picks up several trucks and throws them at the ice wall, breaking it. At the same time, Ariel tells the two other quirk users and the two squads of mercenaries which were with her to go ahead and try and kill Stain, because from what she saw, she isn't on our side, so he's against us. That's basically their, how do you say it, way of thinking. If they're not with us, they're against us. And she went ahead to fight against Bakugo, Ida, and Todoroki, along with the telekinesis squad guy. You know, I'm just gonna give him a name. Let's say that his name is Sparrow. Sounds like a good nickname. Anyways, Sparrow and Ariel finally go ahead and attack the three heroes in training. And this seems like a good mark to end the video, about 29 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 3 of What If Deku Was Gaster, and I also hope all of you have a nice day, or nice night, depends on where you are. Anyways, see you guys.